Well, good evening, folks. Friday, my best day of the week. Friday, the 10th of May. I think, no, yes, 10th of May. Sorry, I haven't got my glasses on. Um, it's rather strange. First of all, thank you for the comments on the previous videos, as always. And if you haven't done so already, please do subscribe. Every little helps, and the thumbs ups were deemed necessary or worthy, I suppose. I do have a token down thumber. I don't know who that is, but it's yeah. Keep it up. Just love it. Nothing like a down thumb on every video, practically. Yes. Sad really, isn't it, these people? Get a life. Maybe they genuinely are down thumbing my videos. Oh, I'm so hurt. Never mind. I'll get over it. I might get two down thumbs now. You never know. Yes. Well, what a nonsense this thumbs up, thumbs down shit, isn't it? Just write a comment or shut your trap, or write a bad comment. That's even better. I just love reading them. But for those who write positive comments, thank you and you're welcome, because you're the clever ones. You're the intelligent ones, and I just disregard the rest and dump them anyway. So, why waste your time? Anyway, I'm wasting my time even discussing such things. Why bother flapping my gums? One thing life teaches us as we progress through them, our years, is it's almost if you were to plot it on a graph. It goes along and it rises exponentially, but then it starts the slow decline. And what is rising exponentially and goes into a slow decline? Well, I'll talk about that. I've often been told of late, I don't know, maybe in the last 5 years, that I'm a very agreeable person, whatever that means, but I take it to mean that I don't like confrontation particularly, if I can avoid it. And I think ultimately that's my goal in life, is to get through the day with a minimum hassle and fuss, but not to the point that I become a victim, because there will be a certain breaking point in which I say no, absolutely not, and I am resolute in my resolve about that. So, there's a danger of being a soft touch and people taking advantage of you when you have to turn around and say no. And for me to say absolutely not to many things in my life, I have to have a resolution, a resolute, that is absolutely the last time, and stick to it, or absolutely not. Don't agree, I'm not going to comply, I'm not going to agree to it, don't count me in, I'm out of here. No way, Jose. But as time progresses, I'm having to say, no way, Jose. Whether it's through necessity or habit, I don't know, you see, because when we're younger, and when you or I were younger, maybe, assuming you're similar age to me or not, in my younger days, probably a better way to say it, we are forming opinions on almost everything, often wrong. We're very quick to form opinions, aren't we? We're very quick to make decisions and quick to change our mind, and this soon changes throughout our life. And the clever people, the real clever people, I learnt quite quickly through bare necessity, was that intelligent people make their mind up very fast, but they change their mind very cautiously and very slowly. You see, the non-intelligent people take an age to decide. Well, if that happens, I'll do that, and if that might happen, they run these battles of scenarios in their head ad nauseum, to be honest with you, pontificating on what may come. What future may there be in if I do that, that'll happen. They suffer what they call the paralysis of analysis. So they make their decision eventually, thank Christ. And then next couple of days, they change their mind. So there's two types of people. Those who make their mind up over a long period of time but change it regularly whenever they do, which means it's not really their final decision, but it's better than no, bad decisions are better than no decision at all. That's not quite right. It's far wiser to make the decision and bloody stick to it and be hung by your tongue. And if absolutely unavoidable, only then will you change your mind or comply to the wishes or needs of others if you must. You see, but you've made the decision quick, so you've saved time, and time is the one thing we cannot replace. When all's said and done, tick tock, tick tock, tick tock. And I'll give you examples of how I used to do this in my childhood. I used to have an opinion about everything. Young people do have opinions about everything, and their opinion is the most important one, of course. And they're right every time. I mean, there used to be a saying, employ a teenager quickly while they know everything. And that's very true. Sadly, the teenagers don't know anything, but they think they know. And you've probably been through the mill with teenage children. Yeah, I've been a teenager. I've been there. I've lived the skin, man, as they say. But as an example, if you're young and in your relationship, you're deciding on maybe where you're going to go on your first holiday as a romantic couple, your boy and girlfriend, and if you're allowed to go together, if you've got, progressive parents. It's maybe, the lovers' first holiday together. Is it going to be Ibiza? You never know. And yes, they're deciding. And a lot of toing and froing, and they can't agree. They can't agree on the colour red, can they? Well, you said that and you want this, and then arguments ensue. And it's important to both of them they get their own way. So you reach this impasse, don't you? This, that's it. How are you getting on with the holiday planning? Don't even go there. Every time I suggest something, she says no. Or every time I think of something, he's against it. Oh, so the Politburo is still sitting. There's no smoke out the Vatican yet saying you've chosen no. And this can go on for weeks. This toing and froing and indecisiveness. You think, well, the holiday season's nearly over and you still haven't chosen because you're bickering between what you want to go to. For Christ's sake, make your mind up. It's because one of them won't back down. Neither of them will. And tick-tock, time is going, you see. They're taking age to make a decision. Then they'll decide. That's it. Smoke's coming out the top of the Vatican. They've chosen. A couple of days later, what's going to be that? Yeah. But what he or she is saying is that I let her have her own way, but I was deeply unhappy about it, and I let her know. So she didn't want me to be unhappy. Oh, so what you're saying is now you're happy? Yeah, I'm happy now because what? You got your own way? Yeah, I got my own way. And this goes on a lot. But this is as me too. I've been through that. I've been through that phase in my life where, yes, I suppose you could say spoilt brat syndrome, used to getting my own way. I assure you I wasn't. I was the youngest of 5 boys, and I rarely, if ever, got my own way. But I was a spoilt brat when push come to shove, because my mother would prioritise that I was happy over the others. It's rather strange, but yes, that's what you do with the youngest. Make sure, isn't it, the youngest taken care of. And at least it's happy. My happiness was paramount, it seems. Thank you, Mum. And my father, quite frankly. But to the detriment, I suppose, and chagrin of my brothers. So, he's got his own way again. You're so soft on that boy. And I progressed in my life like this. And things I thought were important were important. It's as simple as that. And I wouldn't settle for anything less. And I would resent anyone getting their own way over what I chose. Because I was a spoiled brat. Quite openly admit it. And I got used to it, but it came as a shock to realise that I have to suddenly start work. Yes, number one. And number two, have to deal with people who are strong and hold strong opinions and things and strong beliefs, and what they want superseded what I want. And it often became a committee decision, and I was outvoted. And I used to get highly stressed about this because I was so used to getting my own way. And it happens time and time again as we grow older, this being disappointed. And the sad fact of life is that life is full of disappointments. That's very true. But it's a tough pill to swallow, isn't it? It's like one of those pills that goes down on its side. Eventually, the grown-up in us will say, for Christ's sake, man up. Don't you just hate that? Especially when your wife says it. And equally, when you know really she's right. Yes, but don't tell her. But there reached a point in my life where I don't, and I didn't, and I used to, but nowadays I don't sweat the small stuff. And I try to recollect when all this degradation or degrading of how adamant I was, when did I start to mellow? Because in life, really, it's rare indeed that any of us are wholly, truly content. But you can force contentment. You see, you have to analyse what keeps you unhappy. What is making you unhappy, if at all anything? But if you do find yourself unhappy, you can spend hours trying to, and you too will suffer from the paralysis of analysis. You'll think, what is it? Why? I should be, I don't know, do I take antidepressants? I should be as happy as a sandlark. I've got everything going for me. Got a nice house, nice kids, yada, 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 yada. But I'm still pissed off. I'm still finding every day a grind. And, I've got so much going for me. And yet, why am I so fed up with it all? Or you're suffering from classical depression, have some pills, no thanks. Now, antidepressants do work for some people. But it's nature's part of life, I suppose, and design, that we cannot be happy all the time. Show me someone who's happy all the time, I'll show you a lunatic. Lunatics, these are people who talk to the moon at night, or lunar, meaning they come out at night during moonrise, not sunrise, and they have a tick. Lunatics, they come out at night and tick around, So what I did realise, I did a bit of self-analysis, and I thought, well, what was making me unhappy? Was it my ability to be adamant enough and get my own way? Is it because I've lost the ability to dominate those who have another opinion to mine, and I don't get my own way? Is that what's depressing me? Because I've been so used to getting my own way, and somebody says no, it really, and have to comply and bend to the wishes of others. And you think, I've been through this. I'm bearing my soul here. And hope that maybe it's happening to you. I don't mean hope it's happening to you. I mean, if what I say helps you get over this, I hope it does, and I hope this video does. Because my idea of my videos is to help people. So I've got a bit of hay fever today, folks. Itchy nose. It's big enough. I've got a big problem. But I found that life can be, they do say life is what you make it. And I have to do introspection. Let's look at myself in a mirror, quite frankly. I know after I got over the initial shock, I have to look at my character. Am I likable? Am I respected in it? Do my kids love me? Does my wife love me? Does my family have any low opinion or high opinion of me? And I start to ask their opinions, and they're far too polite. Maybe if I have spinach on my teeth, I wonder, would they tell me, or would they be too polite? And if somebody says, what do you think about me, and what do you think is my character flaws, because believe me, we all have them. Some people are just too kind to be honest, and they don't realise that this business about spare the rod and spoil the child is truly true. Truly true. I would rather somebody just be upfront and honest about it and say, the worst thing about you is XYZ. And then explain why. And maybe give some examples of how I come across on occasions. Now, I know I've been told that I come across as being arrogant on occasions. I dismiss other people's ideas far too readily in favour of my own. I'm an autocrat. I'm a loner. There's only one way, or my way or the highway, and this is the opinion of others that think about me like that, and I think is rather sad, because I thought I was quite, democratic in my formation of a dictate. Get that? Dictate. Give them the impression they have a choice, but they really truly don't. Not if they want to keep me happy. You see, this is the blackmail side. Yeah, have your own way. Do it. No, you do it. That's fine. You do it your way. Huh. And then they feel guilty, you see. That's another little scam, isn't it? Make them feel bad for contradicting you or going against your better judgment and not taking your advice. And that's it. Give them the guilt trip. That's a little gem of a trick, that is. But of late, you see, in the last sort of probably 5 years, I think, it's difficult to put a pinpoint on it. Because I'm going through a phase of being a minimalist in my life, I truly am. I am. I don't sweat the small stuff anymore. And I've found it a breath of fresh air. Because it's taken the weight off my shoulders of that responsibility, because it was a responsibility. I'll give you an example. You're going to decorate the house. The oh so important bricks and mortar. Not. You soon moan if you haven't got one, mind. But I used to be obsessed about this. I wanted to say in the colours of the walls, the decor, the carpets, the furniture. Will it go with that? And I was very, not dictatorial, but opinionated. And I used to get bent out of shape about such things. I don't like that lampshade. Absolutely not. No way. I can't live with that. Take it away. I can't live with that. No, we're not having this. And I would be so dismissive of everyone. My children's and my wife's and relatives sometimes used to have an opinion. I'd tell them to shut the trap. Diplomatically. Well, it's not my bag. Well, it isn't your bag. You're right. So be quiet about it. I happen to like it. Okay. And I have to live with it. And I paid for it. This was what was going on. And I used to get bent out of shape. And if I didn't get my own way, I would sulk like a child, even as an adult. It wouldn't be so Captain Obvious about it, but in ways I think I'll get you back for that, because I've been outvoted by the committee, because I thought I was being democratic, but I didn't like the result, a little bit like Brexit, Hate to mention the word. I was a Brexiteer and still am, by the way. But I don't think we'll ever get Brexit, not as the way we want it, Jim. So, what changed? Well, I think what changed is me, ultimately. I had a paradigm shift, and it was a revelation. And it all started so innocently. When you're content and you have this inner peace about you, is when you stop wanting things. I know, because we're all obsessed about accumulating crap in our lives. And I reached this point and I thought, things do not make me happy. I am elated with the success of others, i.e. my children and my wife's successes. I get a bit excited about my own personal successes on occasions, but I used to be self-obsessed. Of course I did. Tell me someone who isn't truly, when they're young, self-obsessed. Wouldn't leave the house without having my hair combed, wouldn't. I've got a bit of self-respect. I still comb my hair and brush my teeth and have a shave and all this bullshit. But I used to I'm not worrying now. What will they say? I can't be seen dead in that. Seen by who? I'm not going out looking like this. Well, why are you worried? Hang on, why are you worried about it? And this is the questions I was having to answer by more responsible older people who've been through what I was going through. I say, but you don't understand. Oh, they do. They're just being diplomatic. But they probably thought to themselves, he's not ready yet. He's not ready yet. And forgive him for that he knows not what he does, because this is all what humans do. It's perfectly natural to want your own way about things. That's the way, self-preservation and all this nonsense. And status, this horrible word. Status is buying things you can't afford with money you really don't have to impress people you don't even know or like. That's what status is. Oh, I've got this Louis Vuitton bag. What will the girls say? Who gives a shit what the girls say, quite frankly? Give me a polythene bag any time. or a paper cardboard bag. It functions as a bag. That's it. But what will it say on the bag? Tesco's or Morrison's or Aldi? Wouldn't be seen dead with an Aldi carrier bag. You see how it goes. But there reached a time, as I reached, where I woke up one morning and I was looking around and I was thinking, they're all things. That's what they are. They're all inanimate objects. They don't love me. They don't give a shit about me. They don't care whether I live or die. They just happen to be them. Possessions. And for the most part, they've served their purpose to me. They fulfill a role and I expected of them, and they did their little job amazingly. And now they're surplus to requirements. And I started to give a lot of things away. I'm not interested in selling things. I'd rather more pleasure in giving than receiving. So if somebody had a use for it, I'd give it to them, much to the irritation sometimes of my family. But yeah, I could get a few bob for it, but it gave me great pleasure. I was paying for the pleasure. It gave me pleasure to give things. I am even like that at Christmas. I would much rather give than get. I like watching people open their presents. I buy them, and it's worth it to me. I open mine. Go, oh yes, very nice. Thanks very much. Open mine. Open the one I've given you, because I want to see their little chops. But when we were choosing things like furniture and decor for the house, we used to have such rows about things. Not rows, disagreements really. Well, I like that one, and I knew I was going to either going to win this or lose this. It can only go one or two. There's no compromise, because if I won, my wife would have had to compromise and bit a lip. She'll get me back later, and then you get this tit for tat thing going on. Well, if you choose the 3-piece, I'm choosing the bed. It's a deal, but I wanted to choose the bed as well, because I knew best, and this is the mentality. But one day I woke up, as I said, and I thought, it's all nonsense. And it started, and I couldn't control it, in the sense that my wife said to me one day, do you like this furniture? I said, yeah, it's nice. Do you? Yeah. And I could tell that, because she lost the battle about 5 years ago, I had my way with the furniture. I said, why do you ask? She says, well, do you think it's a bit dated now? It's more for a cottage, and we moved from a cottage to where we are now. So I said, oh, you don't like it anymore? I've always liked it. She says, but I don't think it's really fitting for this house. I said, well, that's your opinion. She goes, well, of course it is. Whose opinion is it otherwise? And then she said to me, the fool, she said, well, what do you think? Normally I'd say, well, I think it's just bloody marvellous. It fits as the hat, what are you talking about? We don't need more furniture. No, what I was trying to say is, I'm perfectly content, thanks very much, and sod off. We're not spending any more money, or you're not spending your money on furniture, because I'm quite content with what I'm being dominant again, and I'm wanting my own way, and I'm wanting status quo. But then I said, quite out of the blue, and I don't know why I said it. Well, I do now. I said, are you unhappy with it? And she said, well, I just think it's a time for a change. It's a bit dated, and we need to, kids are left home now, and I think it's time that we spoil ourselves. We've got some extra cash, and, we have had it for a long time, I said, it's served us well, hasn't it? Yes, it's very nice, yes. So what do you think? And then she said, what do you think we should go for then? And then it happened. This revelation. I said, well, you choose, darling. I really don't have a dog in the race. And I don't know where that word came from, a little phrase. I heard it somewhere subliminally. But it's such a great thing to say. I don't have a dog in the race. What do you mean, you don't care? I didn't say I didn't care. Of course I care. But really, I don't really have an opinion about it. If that's what you want to do and it keeps you happy, I'm happy when you're happy. And I truly meant it. And I wasn't trying to buy her favour. The fact is that it was of nil importance to me. None, nada. What furniture we have in the house. Now, a couple of years back, I would have been adamant at getting my own way and wanting my own house furnished like this, and our house, get that, our house furnished like I want it, irrespective of what she thought, or the children pass an opinion, adult children, really. No. Well, your father's, man of the house has decided we're having this, and that's what, And I thought, I don't know, normally I would have said, I would have argued till I was black and blue about things if I wanted my own way. But I didn't. It was like this weight had been lifted off my shoulders. And I could see the look of stunned silence and something wrong with the boy. What, well, don't you care? I said, well, frankly, not really. I care that you're happy. That's all. Whatever makes you happy. And she was in a state, my better half, of absolute shock. I said, do you want a cup of tea? You look ever so pale. No. So what? She had to double check. So what you're saying is then that we find someone to give this to, or relatives, or whatever they want it, or you can sell it, or whatever you do. I said, stick it on the skip as far as I'm concerned. It became zero important. And zero, it was valueless, quite frankly. It was just furniture. I didn't get emotionally attached. And I wasn't emotionally attached. I still had the thought that we didn't really need to change it. But she evidently did. And she's been deeply unhappy with it since we've had it, apparently. So I want her to be happy. And I said, I want you to be happy. So you choose. I'm pretty much in favour of whatever you want. And now she thinks, what's he up to? What does he want? Well, I still haven't disappointed her, in this respect anyway. I sort of said, well, that's fine. Well, of late, we've obviously been discussing other things like carpets. It's like, okay, what's next? Oh, sure enough. Yes. A couple of days went by. I said, have you chosen the type of furniture you're having, or whether it's going to be oak or whatever, or the distressed look? I'm the distressed look. Oh yeah, I think oak is quite nice. Light oak is quite nice because it pretty much Okay, you're the interior designer. Joke, joke. Haha. Sarcasm. Didn't work. Uh, what you're saying, you don't like what I've chosen? Absolutely not. If that's your choice, I'm delighted. I like oak. Um, Heaven forbid I have an opinion. But it wasn't, truly, it wasn't important. But then we started talking about the carpets. And again, I really don't care. What do you mean you don't care? And it's like, again, she falls into this state of shock. Bloody hell, what's wrong with the boy? Again. I said, it doesn't matter to me. Providing you don't get white carpets or cream, because we have dogs, you know. And a darker carpet is often better. Otherwise, you spend a fortune cleaning the damn things. The carpets, not the dogs. You know, so we have pets. We have to be realistic. Dark carpets, you know, not that we're manky, but we don't want to have to keep getting on our hands and knees every 5 minutes. So I said, well, you know, we'll go and get a swatch and you can choose which carpet you want, or, you know, fine. And I'm finding that life is so much easier for me because I don't have to make decisions anymore. I don't have to fight for my corner, because the best thing to do, folks, is don't have a corner. Be content. Not only should you be content with what you have, but be content with what others want. You see, because in life, nothing really is that truly important enough to fall out over. Not really. There are certain principles, of course. That's why I don't lend money. If somebody I love needs money, I will give it to them. I would just say, give it to me back when you can, knowing full well, you know, probably won't see it again. You must be prepared to lose it mentally, and if you do get it back, it's a bit of a bonus. That's the way to look at lending family money. Don't lend friends money. It's the quickest way to lose your friends. But now, you see, I look back in reflection and think, God, I was such an argumentative prat, arguing over nothing. The time I've spent arguing over what colour, what shape, what type, what name, what brand, and it all doesn't matter. Because my heart will be going on, or it will be going off. It's very quick. And we can be snuffed out in an instant. And why would we fall out over such things of trivia? Because, well, ashes to ashes, dust to dust. We all return, don't we, to the earth in one form or another. And I try to have as few dogs in the race than I would normally have. When you're young, you have a complete dog home full of dogs in the race, really, don't you? You have all these opinions, all these, I want my way, I want my way, I want my way. I've never had my own way before, and I'm going to have it this time, and I will argue till death until I get it. I'll fight to the end. And then you suddenly realise it's all bullshit. And then life becomes so simple. So now I've become a minimalist. And when somebody says to me, what do you think about that? I just simply say I try not to think about it. Because I have other things to think about, other more delightful things. I'm thinking of serious things, like who designed the butterfly? You know, is water intelligent? These are the things I'm thinking. Now, I went through a period of thinking nothing but conspiracy theories. There were no theories. There are no theories. There's millions of conspiracies, and you've got to rest assured. So there's plenty of other things you can fill your head thinking about and trying to analyse. And I get I'm never bored of anything to think about. I can't think of anything. Well, that's just a sign of a lack of an imagination, because there's plenty to do, and I continue to do, is get so angry internally when somebody says they're bored. Bored? How very dare you be bored? Especially with the internet. Because if you think of something like, well, I never really understood calculus at school. God, it wasn't my bag. I always found it hard. But you can think, well, it depends how much you want to learn, doesn't it? I wonder what it truly was all about, this, why people were getting so excited about algebra and why it's useful. I was too embarrassed to say I didn't quite understand it, perhaps, although I did, but as an example. So you can now go on to find anything you want. You can learn. We have the University of Life in the computer. And yet we abuse it. We watch such shit, don't we? If you look at all the stuff, porn accounts for 75% of the traffic on the internet. Pornography. And it's free. But if you want to watch a film or get a box set of any particular, you've got to pay for that. But you can watch hardcore porn anytime, any day, any place, unless you live in China. Isn't that ironic that, yes, I suppose there are. I haven't looked. I'm not into porn. If you are, bloody marvellous, good for you. But it's a computer screen. It ain't the real thing. Yeah. And there's so many sadaks out there that they spend their time doing that. And grooming young girls and boys. And the dating scene and MySpace and Facebook. We waste the most precious commodity we have, which isn't money, folks. It's time. And we have just enough time in our bottle, don't we? Like Jim Croce, what a great singer, songwriter. Died in a plane crash, a bit like Buddy Holly. Jim Croce and his guitarist, great. Time in a Bottle. Wonderful song. Operator, another fantastic song, Jim Croce. I digress. But there is so much, we have no excuse for ignorance. Ignorance now is no excuse because we now have the university on our lap. It's called the computer. Never before in history has so much knowledge been available to so many people. The tables truly have turned. And yet we abuse such a privileged position. I would be perfectly happy you never had porn on the computer. And I personally don't have it. I don't look at it. I have no interest in it particularly. I get it if people want to do it. There we go. I understand. But there are compulsives. There are porn addictions. And it's an illness, folks. It truly is. But horses for courses, you see, again, my opinions. Whatever floats their boat. But it is true to say that 75% of traffic on our internet, in the Western society anyway, is porn traffic. Freely available to all ages. Well, isn't that very sad? It just says, are you 18 and over? And an 11-year-old will go, click yes. And there it is. You can Google free pornography. Pink, it's there. No age checks, nothing. Absolutely nothing. And that's quite deliberate. So there's so much that we can learn and have an opinion on. And here's me having an opinion about pornography. But we have so much opportunity. How very dare you waste your time doing that when there's so much in life you should know. And you have the university. You have better. I mean, people used to spend a fortune on Encyclopedia Britannica, wall to wall. Look at how clever we are as a family. We spent 10 grand on a complete set of bloody books that gather dust. You cart them around from house to house. All these reference books, all these concise dictionaries, that thick. Oxford, the law lot who are studying law have wall-to-wall books. It's all available on a little microchip now. So why don't they get rid of the bloody books? My minimalist era. There's nothing unavailable on the internet if you know how to look for it. Nothing. It's all there, folks. There's a thing called the deep net that will get you into trouble if you really go too far. You'll be astounded. Oh yes, it's all there. So what's the point of the video? Point of the video is, well, if only I knew when I was younger not to sweat the small stuff. Okay, and realize that other people's opinions is equally important, if not more sometimes, than my own. And I find myself now so sanguine, so laid back. But the danger of being so laid back is that if you're not careful, people will crap all over you, knowing they can get away with it. There has to be a point. There will certainly be things that I will are resolute about. These are my values. My core values are, okay, that I have certain things in my life are rules that I run my life by. And if people try to break those rules, I am absolutely immovable. But they're few and far between. There used to be a huge array of things, but now that's getting smaller. Because the one thing you rapidly realize is, number one is we're all going to die. Number two is you're not as important as you like to think you are. Not in the grand scale of things. You are here in a blink of an eye and you're gone in a blink of an eye. Okay? Most people show it all, owe it all, and know it all until they wake up and smell the coffee. And you know, the quickest way to avoid an argument is not to have one. And sometimes you can avoid arguments by just saying, yes, dear. And it's doubly blessed. It's rather like a kiss, as Shakespeare said. A kiss is doubly blessed. It's easy to give and costs nothing to give. But for those who receive it, maybe like a smile, it enriches the lives of those who receive it. And our life should be geared towards putting a smile on other people's faces. I just wish some people would reciprocate sometimes. So when your partner, husband, son, daughter, relative says, which do you prefer, that one or that one? The best answer is, well, I'm indifferent. They're both nice. What do you prefer? And that is the most of being agreeable is nice. It gives me a certain degree of pleasure knowing that secretly I might have a preference, but it is of zero importance. I really don't want to say that. But I'll just say they're both nice. Tell me, which one do you prefer? And that gives them the, you see, because people are, for the most part, want to be agreeable. They don't want an argument. Not unless they're psychopaths, sociopaths. And you're going to have a far more harmonious life if you are genuinely indifferent. And realize that 99% of the decisions you make are not really that important. And the only thing I would say is the most important thing in any relationship or family environment is what they say about you when you've gone. And I think I'm on the right tack. That despite all his foibles and peccadilloes, he was often a steel hand wearing a velvet glove. But most of all, he was very agreeable and inoffensive. That's a nice epitaph. And it's a nice taste to leave in people's mouths, knowing, you see, that people often wonder if, yeah, I insisted we had red curtains. And you spend your life thinking, really, if your wife truly hates them, or is she being agreeable just to keep you happy? Is she self-sacrificing? And I recognize I got to man up and stop being so selfish, and realize that being the man of the house means letting others win most of the time and keeping a smile on my family and loved ones' faces. And if that's being agreeable, I'm agreeable. And the best way to be agreeable is comply, so long as it doesn't hurt anybody or offend anybody or upset anybody. Compliance. Because to be honest, there's nothing that important in life to fall out over with loved ones. Nothing. Much possessions, money, yada yada yada. It is love. Just love your family and keep a smile on their face, and you're halfway home. And of that I do have an opinion about. I think that's of paramount importance. The rest of it is inconsequential. Okay? Be happy when other people around you that you purport to love are happy. That's when I'm at my happiest. And I learned that by watching a dog the other day. A bitch that we've got, a beautiful Cavalier King Charles, gave birth to 5 puppies. Wonderful dogs. Lovely little puppies. I didn't want to give any of them up. They've all sold. But I stood and got a picture the other day, a photograph of the mother. Big Mama. Rosie. They're all small dogs, of course. And she stood away from her puppies. And she was watching them, all of the little 5 monkeys playing around. And she had this look of utter contentment on her face, looking at her babies, thinking, they're all very happy, I'm so proud. And that says it all. I can look at my family knowing that we did good. I did good. They love me and I love them. It doesn't get any better, folks. And often it means swallowing your pride and letting others have their way sometimes. Well, most times. It makes no odds to me.